We are entering spring, summer, and what I consider wedding season. So I'd like to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about finding financial harmony in marriage times. In my mind, spring marks the beginning of wedding season, although realistically these days, I know weddings can be any time of the year. In fact, I remember in 2020, back at the beginning of COVID, I was talking with a wedding venue owner here in Arizona, asking how he could possibly reschedule what he said were 67 weddings that he got canceled due to COVID. And his answer was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Rather than putting weddings off for a different month or even another year or more, families were choosing to reserve open dates on the calendar, which meant non-traditionally having a wedding on a weekday or a weeknight. I thought that was a great idea to keep business on track and keep clients and families happy and continuing with their plans. But no matter when you get married, and whether it was a large or a small gathering or you eloped, the question of marrying your finances also comes with the territory of entering this new committed relationship. So in an effort to help reduce the horrible statistic that 60% of marriages now end in divorce, and actually that percentage is higher for second and third marriages, I wanted to share some food for thought on what I have seen when it comes to kind of a subtopic of financial harmony, and that's relating to co-mingling your finances or not. Money matters can significantly impact a marriage, and it's right up there as one of the top reasons for divorce. So I thought we'd take a little deeper look by using this new fad, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT to be specific, to help us explore the pros and cons of co-mingling versus separate finances, just to see what AI comes up with, but then also talk about what I think couples should do from what I've seen as a certified financial planner perspective when it comes to money in marriage, and hopefully a better chance to avoid money issues. So I hope it helps find the right balance that suits each unique relationship, because we're all very different situations. So let's start with co-mingling. Co-mingling finances involves merging all the income, all the expenses, and all the assets into joint accounts. I've helped clients consolidate accounts even years after they've gotten married, once they realize all these hoops that they need to go through if one of them suddenly dies or ends up in the hospital without having everything titled either jointly or in the name of a trust if they have one, or naming a beneficiary or a power of attorney on an account. Anyway, it can be a mess for the survivor. And you can check out a link that talks specifically a lot more about that below. But anyway, that joint approach can foster a sense of kind of shared responsibility and certainly transparency. It can simplify bill payments. It enables joint financial goal discussions, and I find it promotes a sense of more unity. So it forces you to end up communicating about money, which is really vital for a healthy relationship. And it can allow for better financial planning as a team then, which can reinforce your trust and commitment to each other. Let's compare that with opting for separate finances, meaning you're maintaining individual bank accounts and handling expenses, maybe even independently. So according to artificial intelligence, this approach allows each partner to maintain their financial autonomy and even privacy, and can maybe benefit couples with different spending habits or income levels and avoid some potential conflicts over money. Here's where I beg to differ a little bit. I have seen this separate approach very often leading to distrust, less communication, and a tendency to think more in terms of mine and yours versus us and ours. I cringe when I hear discussions, for example, that are tied to income. So if one is the main income earner, does he or she get more say about the financial decisions? And then what happens when roles reverse? Lots of women out-earn their husbands now, for example. So do you switch who gets to make the decisions then? When you don't seem to be both approaching decisions together with pooled resources, that can often wedge some additional challenges and control issues into the relationship, even beyond money, from what I've seen. I have seen, however, that if it's a second marriage or when one or both bring substantial assets or debts into a relationship, then separate finances could be potentially advantageous, mostly for preservation, for legacy reasons for the original families involved. That can certainly come into play in those situations. And it can also mean that the assets might be kept separate, but maybe not necessarily the income and the expenses. So you might be thinking, well, what about kind of a middle ground? And I think many couples find a hybrid approach might be the best solution. So maybe they each maintain separate accounts for some personal spending, but then have established joint accounts for shared expenses. That sometimes offers financial independence while also promoting collaboration on more essential matters. It also forces you to have regular discussions, right, about goals and maybe budgeting or long-term plans. And that can help with transparency and kind of keeping them both aligned with each other a little bit more. So what's best for you? When it comes to commingling or keeping separate finances in a marriage, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's really essential for couples to openly discuss these options, talk about what your values and your money goals are, and concerns that you each have to find whatever is going to work best for both of you. So whether you choose commingling, separate finances, or that hybrid combination approach, again, the key is we're trying to establish trust with each other, foster open communication, and a shared understanding really of how this money tool is going to be used in this relationship. I totally agree that really couples can lay a strong foundation for a successful partnership by finding financial harmony. So much so that I've written a checklist. You know me, that's one of my solutions is follow the checklist for most financial stressors. It's called the before and after marriage checklist. You can check out that link below. And it's really designed for all ages, no matter where you are in the before or after marriage process, just to help you have conversations around money decisions, like this subtopic of separate versus joint finances. And we live and learn. So maybe you'll consider sharing or using this tool yourself to improve your own financial harmony.